Okay, I got excited the other day and I accidentally said the wrong chapter for like 5 days. So this is part 19 of Rebel. Um like, subscribe, all that stuff. Okay. Eden. They led me into a private elevator station. Then they blindfolded me. I trembled in the familiar darkness, their hands firmly on my arms, their low voices, the faint lurching of the elevator. Every bit of it feels like the Republic again, those terrifying moments when I would lie inside a glass cylinder, rocking along with the train car, unsure where they were taking me. I couldn't see anything. The world looked like nothing but a blur of strange shapes. I've never spoken to my brother about those days when we were first separated. There's too much to say, and it all bleeds together into one continual nightmare. Screaming at the searing pain of injections, lying exhausted in a pool of my own vomit, shaking uncontrollably from fever, feeling like my body was on fire, like I would die, shrinking away from horrifying hallucinations, feeling cold, stiff corpses lying beside me, being moved over and over again without being able to see. In the first years after it all ended, I was a child who could push it away. But the darkness of those moments have clawed back year after year into my dreams, and now I have returned to that same place, reliving the nightmare of being forced into the dark. My brother. The image of his unconscious face, his closed eyes, and gagged mouth haunts my vision. The thought of where he might be now is almost more than I can hear. More than I can bear. I can't tell how long we stay in the elevator. Too long. Then their hands are gripping my arms again and I stumble out with them. They shove me onto a seat and a moment later we're moving again, this time forward instead of down. Finally, after an eternity, we stop. They shove me roughly and sit me down onto what feels like a couch of some kind. The darkness over my eyes shifts as one of them unties the knot at the back of my blindfold. They lift it away. I squint in the sudden light. I'm in a luxurious living room that looks like it's part of an estate, except that there are no windows. The couch I'm sitting on, all the furniture in the room actually, is severe in its elegance, all clean rectangular lines and muted colors. The lights embedded in the ceilings fill the room with a cooling glow, and standing before me is Dominic Hahn himself, dressed in a tailored suit and trousers. He smiles as my eyes meet his. Eden Batar Wing, he remarks, scrutinizing me. His voice is as rough and grainy as I remember, as if he suffers from some kind of chest infection. Your brother has quite the reputation. Always known in relation to Daniel, even down here. I narrow my eyes at him and clench my teeth. What have you done with him? He's safe. I didn't bring you here to terrify you, although I've been told it's a bad habit of mine. Han steps toward me, and that's the first moment when I realize that he isn't physically in the room with me. His figure is slightly translucent, and as he moves, I see his shoes pass through the thick surface of the rugs. Too afraid to be in the same place as your guards, I want to say archly back to him, but the thought of Daniel captured somewhere here keeps my retort at bay. Instead, I say, and what's the point of all this? He pauses beside me and sits down on the couch as much as a hologram can sit. I can see the cushions through his body. He coughs forcefully enough that his shoulders hunch from the force. When one of his guards gives him a questioning look, he waves her away with an impatient hand. You're a Sky Floor citizen, he begins when he's cleared his throat enough. There are few in this country who can enjoy a more luxurious lifestyle than yours, and yet there you were, in the Undercity, risking your level and reputation in order to enter a drone race. He looks sidelong at me. What brought you down there? I can't help the sarcasm that rises now in my voice. You went to all this trouble just to ask me why I was down in the Undercity? Han smiles. A couple of his guards smile along with him, and when he laughs, so do they. There's a spark in you, he says, genuine fondness in his voice. You're made for our world down here. I don't attend Undercity events. I haven't watched a drone race in years. There's no reason for me to show my face and risk my own safety for an event that my guys are going to bet on for me anyway. So why do you think I showed up after one of them told me about you? My drone, I answer without hesitation. He nods, pleased, and some small part of me feels oddly complimented by that. You told me you built all of that yourself. Where are you going with this? My anger is starting to triumph over my fear. Are you going to tell me what you want or not? Where's my brother? Han leans back in ease and ignores my questions. I looked up your files. Seems like you're a star student at Ross University, and yet here you are, coming down to the Undercity week after week. That's not the typical behavior of a Skyfloor kid with their entire future ahead of them. You didn't bring me here to be my therapist. At that, Han laughs. His guards join in. No, I didn't. I brought you here because I think you are the kind of talent that I see only once in a generation. Show me my brother, I demand. Then we can talk. Rest assured, he is safe, and I will do you the favor of keeping him that way. He leans forward to rest his elbows on his knees, then regards me with a piercing gaze. But this is not about him. I'm not interested in your brother. This is about you. His words are hitting some part of me that yearns to hear it. This is not about him. If Han is trying to manipulate me, he's going to be smart about it, I warn myself. He understands exactly what my weak points are. Where is Daniel? What has Han done to him? The man frowns at my expression. You're not used to hearing that, are you? That you're the focus. He rises from the couch. His hoarse voice is oddly gentle, with that same warmth that had drawn me in when I first met him. Come with me, please. As he steps out of the room, he snaps his fingers once without looking back at me. At first, I think his guards will drag me up and force me forward, but instead they bow as they approach me, then nod for me to follow Han out of the room. I hesitate, afraid, but then start walking. We head out of the room and down a narrow hallway. As we make several turns, the clean walls and elegant corridors vanish, making way for a smooth concrete floor and steel walls and ceilings. Here, they usher me into what looks like a train instead of a tunnel. This must have all been salvaged and renovated from an old abandoned part of the city. We ride in silence for a few minutes before the train comes to a gentle halt. Then we step out into the hall that opens up into a vast cavernous space. I balk at the sheer size of it. It looks like a factory filled with halls of identical machines, each of them blinking blue in unison. There must be millions and millions of them, and when they're all stacked together like this, they look dizzying. Overhead, sheets of cold white lights shine down on the building. Giant vents run along the ceiling, and tall steel beams tower up in rows. In the center of the room, though, is a large circular structure that looks like some strange combination of steel and glass and twisted fractal mesh, like something halfway between machine-like and organic. It has a soft blue glow about it. Surrounding it are metal supports, and in the center is a large circular platform where several workers now stand. The platform's floor changes to a smooth, dark metal, and my boots clank against the new surface as we step onto it. A couple of the workers look up to see us enter. You are getting exclusive access here, Eden, Han says to me as he strides toward the structure. This is a world-class engine I'm building, so I suppose you could say we have similar interests. What does it do? I find myself asking, momentarily overwhelmed by it and resenting my own curiosity. You answered none of my questions, and you expect me to tell you anything. He smiles at me. The drone you built for that race, it had a perpetual engine. I look at him. Close, yes, I reply, surprised that he knows. It's powered by a combination of tech and biology. The microorganisms in it feed off the heat that the initial engine blast generates and creates more energy of their own. Han nods. I recognize the glow that your engine was giving off. Now I know you are planning to head back to the Republic of America and begin an internship there. He shakes his head. But I think it's a waste of your talent. Stay here and you'll find yourself designing much more interesting things than hospitals and museums. I bristle at his backhanded compliment. I don't consider it a waste of time. Han gives me a crooked smile. I had to fight my way to where I am today. I knew my worth, that I was destined for more than just staying on the lowest rungs, running errands for someone else. You're destined for more too. How about you apply that skill of yours to working for me? I stare at him incredulously. His machine looms beside us, its light casting a faint glow against my skin, but not against his hologram. You're offering me a job? I never shaft my talent, Eden. You'll be paid handsomely. More than anyone in the Republic would offer you, I can guarantee it. Anyone you love and care for will be taken care of. Like how you're taking care of my brother right now? Like how you had your guys show me a video of someone following him home? He shakes his head. My methods are unconventional. It's a result of the world I operate in. But I am not interested in hurting your brother, Eden. What good would that do me when I am trying to earn your trust? Cooperate with me and your brother will be released unharmed with no knowledge of where he was held, and he and the AIS can go back to hunting me like they always do. If you lure Han out into a space where our agents are ready for him, we can take him down before he can escape. The AIS director's words come back to me now, haunting in their premonition. I'd refused to do it, but now the choice has been taken out of my hands. Now I'm down here, and my brother is in real danger with no promise that AIS will be able to find him in time should I refuse or displease Han. I turned my head back to the towering machine, to its soft glow. On a small scale, my engine was able to turn the drone into one of the fastest racers I've ever seen. What is this engine for? What is Han planning to do with it? At this very moment, Daniel is somewhere down here, wondering whether I'm still alive. Han sighs when he sees my hesitation. When I was younger, he says, I lived in the Undercity with my family. My mother once sent me on an errand to buy groceries in a part of the Undercity far from our home. That's what happens to single-level folks who don't qualify for the good stores, you see. We have only a few shops to choose from, and the only one with what we needed was on the other side of the city. I got lost on the way there and ended up in an alley where I witnessed an attack. I hid behind a trash bin and watched several people holding down a man. His attackers all had knives. The man they held down was sobbing, apologizing for stealing a crate of canned food. Han glances at me. My heartbeat quickens. Do you know what they did to him? Is he telling me a story from his past, or is he threatening me? All I can see is the blurred edges of my vision, the sharpened focus on this criminal. All I can think about is the way I'd crouched beside my brother on the floor of our kitchen years ago, holding his hand as he fought through the pain in his head. The way he'd screamed and collapsed. The way I'd shouted for an ambulance. The bright lights of the hospital. Han looks grave at my pale expression. Some of us aren't born with the luxury of a good childhood. Isn't that right, Eden? Some of us know what it's like to carry a burden on our shoulders for the rest of our lives, something that no one can understand except those who have experienced it for themselves. And in spite of everything, I find myself drawn to what he's saying, like he knows me from the inside out. I wonder what had happened to Han in his past and why he sounds like he has a chronic condition of the chest or the lungs. He looks so sharp and proper now. It's impossible to imagine him as a young boy hiding behind a trash bin. I'm not trying to hurt your brother, Han says quietly to me now, but I know talent when I see it, and I don't like wasting it. Your brother is only my way to you. You don't have to work for me forever. If you don't like it, I swear that I will let you leave, and your brother will be unharmed. In this moment, I am a small boy again, and every word Han says brings me back to the dark years. I hear John's shouts in my mind. I hear the shaking of my mother's voice. I am strapped down to the gurney and being taken away from my family. I am blind, helpless against the onslaught. So I hold up my hands, and when I speak, my voice comes out quietly. Leave him alone, I hear myself say. Don't hurt my brother. Han frowns at the tears blurring my vision. And in return, we can talk about what I can do for you. Just talk. No guarantees, all right? He doesn't answer at first. All he does is gives me a steady smile. A good start, he says.